skyrocketed in the playoff run by a lack of power. Last week, they got Sage Rosario, who helped them pick up the slack and then helped them pick up the smack.
I'm coming to finish anybody, and I can. And let's just say this. We got Philly Smoke next week, and Stacia, I want you next.
Bold words from that 19-year-old. But after that, she did this. She marched right out in her TBL debut and destroyed Susana Rodriguez-Griffin. This 2026 National Golden Gloves champ showed power and poise in her pro debut. So much so that she is looking forward to these two matches with Suttles tonight. But the phrase, be careful what you wish for, might apply here. The aforementioned Stacia Suttles is one of the best 140-pound women in the TBL. And she has plenty of power on her own and 22 TBL wins to show for it. And tonight, she will do her best to make sure that youth will not be served.
Very curious about how this will look stylistically and about the ages of the fighters and everything like that. And what a surprise. This happens to be our round to watch.
How could we not make round 4 the round to watch featuring Suttles and Rosario? And, you know, for this 19-year-old Rosario, here's the thing. She's facing a different breed in there tonight. She's going to have to think defense as she pours on the offense and tries to get to Stacia Suttles.
All right, so let's take this concept all the way through our opening segment here. Avril Matti had a chance to sit down and speak with both fighters earlier.
I go in every fight trying to kill, and I'm the head assassin, and I'm the new big dog in the league. And so this is going for everybody. Y'all better watch out. And I'm just going to prove that later on tonight. So just keep watching.
You don't get called out like last weekend unless there's immense respect from the other person. Do you feel like this could be a new rivalry in Team Boxing League? And does that motivate you to train a little harder?
Honestly, I think she's underestimating me, and there's not really much respect, to be honest. I mean, hey, I'm just going to go in there and do my thing. It's business is business. I'm going in there, and that's it.
All right, so there's an undercurrent between these two teams as they add a little bit of trash talking to the rivalry. It's Boston, it's Philadelphia. The fighters are coming in. We'll be right back to bring it to you. Team Boxing League is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole foods you can easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com, use code TEAM, and start today. Well, we are ready to start Philadelphia and Boston. Let's go inside and hear the introductions from Ray Flores.
Welcome to the next chapter of high-impact, non-stop action. This is Team Boxing League, where every round matters and every fighter leaves it all inside the ring. Every moment of TBL season airs live on MSG Networks, along with Envoy TV. Spanish language coverage available on Estrella TV. We are here at Harris Casino here in Philadelphia, PA, for tonight's TBL Week 10 matchup between the visiting Boston Butchers and your hometown Philadelphia Smoke. We would like to thank the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission, Chairman Rudy Battle, for hosting tonight's event, along with our fine sponsors, Climax Moonshine Fire number 32, Balance of Nature, Serenity Springs Recovery Center, HotelPlanner.com for all your hotel needs. Also, the referees in charge of the action all evening long are Eric Dolly and Sean Clark. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the visiting Boston Butchers.
All right, so here come the Butchers, fresh off a victory last week. Pretty impressive for them. And we see a list of their fighters, how they did. Ellis leading the pack, as always, one of the elite fighters in the league.
And Alexi Del Cruz, it's nice to see him mentioned there because he's really coming on this season.
There's Jimmy Birchfield, executive realm of this team. Also had
the Boston Butchers are led by
promoter.
Jimmy Birchfield and head coach Alex Rivera. Here is the starting lineup for Boston. Featherweight Brandy Robinson. 2020 Olympian representing the Dominican Republic lightweight Alexi De La Cruz. Lightweight Hebrew Francois. Two-time National Golden Gloves champion super lightweight Sage Rosario. Welterweight Javon Bess. Current WBC U.S. Silver Champion, Super Welterweight, Jaye Golden Child Brown. Current WBC Silver Champion, ranked number 2 in the world by the WBO, 15th by the WBC. He's a 2-time TBL All-Star and most exciting fighter, middleweight Rashidi Speedy Ellis. Heavyweight Michael Kofi. Welterweight Keno Luna. Super middleweight Ronald Ellis. Light heavyweight Steven Sumter. Cruiserweight Miguel Teo. And former National Golden Gloves champion, heavyweight Skylar Lacey. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the Boston Butchers. And now, presenting your hometown, Philadelphia Smoke.
All right, the league's only unbeaten team, Philadelphia Smoke. They're revealing numbers of 7 knockouts and 7 knockdowns in their 5 matchups. So this has been a power team enough, even though they're known for their slick boxing, they've got enough power to get to where they are. in the standings.
It's almost impossible not to be undefeated with those power numbers.
Yeah, that's unreal. And part of that, they made a great off-season move in getting
The Philly
Stacia
Smoke
Suttles.
are led by their head coach, esteemed trainer, Bob Keane. Here is the starting lineup for Philly. Multi-time national champion in 2020 U.S. Olympian, Shaquilla Ellis. Lightweight Angel, the chosen one, Hernandez. Lightweight Francisco Kiro Rodriguez. Multi-time national champion, Team USA member, and Olympic trialist, super lightweight Stacia, the natural Suttles. Welterweight Hendria Cedeno. Super welterweight Jason Moreno. Middleweight Dayton Garrett. New York Golden Gloves champion, heavyweight Concha, don't blink, Nathan. Silver medalist at the national championships, bantamweight Lisandro Contreras. Welterweight Isaiah Kiladu Johnson. 2024 Golden Gloves Pennsylvania State Champion, super middleweight Jerome McNeil. Former USBA, NABO, and NABF champion, light heavyweight Jesse Hardward Hart. Former two-time world champion, cruiserweight Steve USS Cunningham Sr. And heavyweight Stephen Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the Philly Smoke. And now we all ask that you please rise if you're able to as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem being performed tonight by TBL alum, former member of the Philly Smoke world-class prize fighter, Nahir Albright.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, in the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, you hear from Pipes Albright.
Nahir Albright with the singing of our national anthem.
Well, we talk about these two teams, the vibes cutting across family lines. Shaquilla, Rashidi, and Ronald across two different teams. So the trash talk, hey, it can continue as the family talks to each other. So these two teams are very tight, knowing what each other's doing.
As the launch rounds begin for Boston, Brandy Robinson. Philly, Shaquilla Ellis.
All right, so Brandy Robinson, 7-4 in TBL. One loss to Ellis last year. 37-year-old out of Chicago is also 5-0 outside TBL, and Shaquille Ellis has been a model of perfection in this league. 25-0 listed, and she has been automatic. And here we go.
And Brandy Robinson this season 2-0, and she's looked. Look at Ellis's number. Of course, she's had a remarkable season, 9-0. And when you think about it, the women tonight for Philadelphia have a combined record this season of 20-3. So that gives you an idea.
And that is going to help you get it to 5-0 because women are prominent in the selection and the scoring for this league, and often the first fighters that get recruited in the off-season are women. Now, how can we help our team? And we take a look at the featherweight spot, and of course Ellis right up on top of there, and Zaria Cottrell has been a very pleasant newcomer to the league this year, and Erica Sanchez moving down in weight became a force here. That's a very good division.
Robinson, there, you know, we see the good right hand there by Robinson sneak in.
And she's circling here on Ellis, trying to find a way to see if Ellis can make a mistake.
And I think sometimes if you make Shaquille Ellis be the aggressor, Ellis can box and she could be a counterpuncher, but if you make her be the aggressor, maybe you can entice her into something that will cause a mistake.
Well, you certainly like the idea of her trying this and, you know, forcing another dimension out of a fighter who has walked through and had it her way. Try to make her uncomfortable. That's what Brandy Robinson is doing.
Yeah, the question will be, will all this movement equate to enough offense for Robinson?
And that is the fine line that she has to walk in endorsing this strategic idea. It will take away some offensive periods, and so she has to make the most of the rest.
Yeah, and we're right toward the end of this round, and for the judges, there wasn't a lot to choose from offensively, a lot of it because of that constant movement by Robinson.
So she has succeeded in one respect to make this a low-scoring affair.
But what Ellis did in the last 15 seconds of this round could easily be enough to win her this decision, that alone.
So you like the idea that both fighters had one for Robinson to try and make it so that it won't be high scoring, and then for Ellis to pick up and know what she had to do.
Yeah, very good point. There's that right hand sneaking in for Ellis. This was action in the second part of the round.
So yeah, you could be at the end of her jab all night and have no chance, or you could try this and you were in it at the end.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round one by way of unanimous decision from the Philly Smoke, Shaquille Ellis.
Like what Robinson tried, even though it didn't work for the win.
Lightweight Boston, Alexia De La Cruz. Philly, Angel Hernandez.
All right, so De La Cruz, 6-1, 2 wins over Roger Hilly recently. Angel Hernandez losing the last two, 12-8 mark. Two guys with a fairly good amount of TBL seasoning.
Yeah, and De La Cruz, he's having a very nice season at 6-1, and that includes a win over Yostiel Napoles. And you know, who's a solid fighter. He's beaten Ryan Zempoteca and Claudio Moreira this season. So Alexia De La Cruz has put together, so far, a nice year.
And you mentioned Napoli's at the top. Zempoteca right there at 7 points. So that's a good gap for Napoli's. De La Cruz in that top 5. You see him in the 3rd spot there.
And when you think that he does have wins over those 2 fighters, so that's kind of impressive.
It kind of makes you an uncrowned champion.
And boxing gives you a few of those, huh?
That's a Philly up 1-0 on Boston. De La Cruz against Hernandez.
And Hernandez has power. He showed that with the knockout of Jose Rodriguez in his first match of the season. So he does have some pop in his punches. And as a pro outside of TBL, every win is by knockout. And he's aggressive coming forward. You can see that.
Approaching the mid stages of this, who's going to make the first gamble between De La Cruz and Hernandez? Well, the heads came together there, dangerous.
The lefty-righty dynamic playing a part in that, and also the way Hernandez attacks sometimes. He kind of squares himself up and leaves his head vulnerable to that.
And even though you can wince even from here, fortunately it wasn't worse. And a little bit of a break has energized Hernandez now. And De La Cruz just missed with a big left hand. Now they're head hunting.
Both men throw, especially De La Cruz, throwing some good shots, just not quite able to get them home.
With high-speed foot movement, just missing here are these punches.
De La Cruz has won these fights this year by being at range, being busy like that, and controlling the geography of the fight. So that even if not everything gets in, he's the one that has a better chance of landing.
So he looks like the general. Let's see how the judges put that into the formula in determining a victor.
And Hernandez's ticket to winning fights, a lot of it has to do with getting his left hook in. And he has not been able to do that effectively. And then they clash heads again right at the end of the round.
Heads turning into each other, which actually may have prevented the full head-on collision that would have been enough to short-circuit the fight.
Take a look at how they clashed heads. This was the first one that was really right on the lip of Hernandez. And I think that happened the second time as well, and it created some blood there. This is right toward the end of the round. Hernandez trying to do some good work, and De La Cruz kind of tying him up.
TBL fans, the winner of round 2 by way of unanimous decision. From the Boston Butchers, Alexia De La Cruz. The score is even at 1 apiece. Round 3 remains at lightweight. Boston Hebrew Francois. Philly Francisco Rodriguez.
Hi, Francois. 6-2 outside of TBL, Winter Haven, Florida via Haiti. He lost a decision in the last 6-round company there. In TBL, he's 5-5, 4-3 this year after no fights in 2025. Came back, fought Claudio Moreira, and Austin Dulé beat them.
They just had that Dulé victory.
Rodriguez had a 9-fight win streak in 2024 and 25, but hasn't been able to find that form thus far in 2026.
Oh, nice overhand right there that snuck in there. from Rodriguez. From Rodriguez. And, you know, Rodriguez, he's 1-4 this season, and he got stopped by Ryan Zemploteka. And so you're right, he's trying to kind of make this season better. He's been a solid fighter in TBL.
Good right hand by Rodriguez. He was one of the emerging stars on this Philadelphia team last year. He's trying to get back to that form. Fighters warn about the headbutt as they seek position on the inside. There's a good right hand by Rodriguez and a looping left hook, even though it's stopped. Showing a little bit more venom on these punches than earlier in the season.
Yeah, the overhead right's been so effective for him so far here. And Francois is a good, solid technician in the ring. And so this offense being this effective for Rodriguez is impressive. And Rodriguez is doing some good body work as well.
Boston, the question is, can they do enough in the last 4 fights to get into the playoffs? And for Philadelphia, it's who can we groom and be sharp, because they know they're going to be in the playoffs. Already 5-0, trying to duplicate what Vegas did last year and running the table on the regular season. So they have to get 3 more wins to do that.
In this match, at least to this point, Rodriguez has looked like one of those people that they may say, oh, he's stepping up to where he was last year, and this performance has kind of been a flashback to that form. Against a decent fighter, you know, 4-3 record this season for Francois, and he's a good fighter.
And we're seeing better hand speed and crispness from Rodriguez, so showing some of the signs of what he did well last year.
Whoa.
He didn't do that.
No. Definite takedown.
Dangerous. You could lose a point. You could lose all type of problems. And this looked like it happened late, so.
Any damage done, the psyche between the two repaired, because they hugged it out. Yeah, that's those right hands by Rodriguez that were very effective, and then right at the end, they kind of got all tangled up, and I think that was less intentional from Rodriguez than it looked in real time.
No suplex,
Team
no
Boxing
foul.
League fans, the winner of round 3 by unanimous decision from the Philly Smoke, Francisco Rodriguez.
A nice performance by Rodriguez, and Philly nudges back up. All right, so here's what the talk was all about. Sage Rosario, Stacia Suttles.
Round 4 at super lightweight, Boston, Sage Rosario. Philly, Stacia Suttles.
Is Rosario going to charge right in? Will she walk into something? Will these wide punches set her up for a counter shot? We'll find out. Suttles had a 21-fight win streak snapped earlier this year.
Yeah, then had those losses to Ariel Davis. She's come back with a win since then, and she is, in fact, knocked out Sofia Veretti.
All right, so Suttles at the top of the division for all those wins she has, and Rosario would get herself into that mix with any type of a points, knockout or a knockdown. So here we go.
Rosario is doing what she did the last fight. She's coming in and throwing some big power punches, some of those looping a little bit. We'll see if Suttles can, and Suttles, you see already, starting to use that jab to parry her. And will those straight punches from her negate the roundhouse power shots that Rosario's throwing?
Rosario coming straight ahead, looping shot, then gets in the right hand, good left hook. Rosario forcing Suttles back, which is a spot we don't usually see her in.
Suttles wants to stay off those ropes. That's where Rosario got Griffin in so much trouble and where she can do good work. But Suttles, you see her adept at moving away from those ropes. Both women landing some nice shots. Suttles got the left hook in. That isn't the punch she's known for. I think the right hand a little more of a signature punch for her.
Suttles having to change styles over other fights we've seen her in. We've seen her been a freight train and bully ahead in this fight against a stronger attacker. A strong attacker. She's moving laterally and classic boxing by her. Oh, and some good shots here by Rosario. And back comes Suttles.
Both landing big power punches, and boy, the hook from Suttles has become a weapon for her in this fight, but Rosario just won't stop.
Good shots here from Rosario. They come in here 45 seconds, and they've hit another level in this fight. Good left hook by Rosario. Good stiff jab by Suttles.
And remember, they're going to do this again tonight.
Suttles with that jab. Suttles with a right hand.
Well, Rosario has probably landed a lot of showy big power punches. The question is, has Suttles responded with enough of those straight jabs and straight right hands and those left hooks as well?
One thing Rosario did accomplish, she made Suttles in this fight wage a battle stylistically like we have not seen her be forced to do. And then Suttles loads up at the end. And you know what? It was a good battle. We forecasted, and it has delivered on what it promised.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch, and I'll tell you what, that's a close one.
Yeah, yeah.
That young woman did exactly what she said she was going to do. She came in and was just like her first fight when you saw her, very aggressive, landing some nice shots. There's that sneaky right hand. And Suttles herself landing some nice left hooks. There's the Rosario right. Look how squared up Rosario is. And yet, it's not that easy, it seems, to counter her. Though Suttles did on many occasions. Nice right hand by Suttles. And then Rosario just doesn't stop attacking. That was a fun round of boxing to watch.
She called her out, backed up her words with a good fight. Now let's see where it goes.
TBL fans, the winner of round 4 by way of unanimous decision. From the Philly Smoke Station, Suttles.
So, super matchup number 1, edge to Suttles. And now the edge to Philadelphia, 3-1, as the Philly Smoke gets the first important victory of the night. All right, so Suttles celebrates. They'll do it again. We'll do more on TBL in just a moment. Stay with us. All right, Philly getting that rousing win by Stacia Suttles. Let's take it back inside and pick up the launch rounds.
Round 5 at welterweight. Boston, Javon Bess. Philly, Hendry Cedeno.
That's a Javon Bess, 8-0 as a traditional pro, 0-4 in TBL. So just, we talk about that Jekyll Hyde thing. It sometimes happens. And yeah, guys are learning a new circuit. And Cedeno is 19-7. He had an 11-fight win streak once. So lost a couple to Yoelis Molina.
Yeah, I mean, both these fighters have not gotten a win in season 4 yet, and those two losses to Yoelis Molina, who's of course one of the top fighters in the TBL, both were split decisions. Cedeno had moments in those fights.
Well, one of the great elder statesmen of our league, Steve Cunningham, is standing by with Avril. Go ahead, Avril.
Hi guys, yes, I'm here ringside with Steve Cunningham Sr., former two-time world champion, has fought some of the greatest fighters of this generation, including Tyson Fury. You retired in 2021 and then decided to come back in 2025 into TBL. Talk us through that decision that brought you back, and how are you feeling about it so far?
I mean, I feel great about it, man. I'm excited about the TBL and what it's got in store for the future. I commentated a fight here in Philly in season 2, and I was intrigued. My son was on the team at the time, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that.
And you're not just a boxer, you're also were in the Navy, and you're a model. Can we have a blue steel?
Yeah, you know, I modeled for some years, you know, a few years ago. I'm getting back into it right now. Got my portfolio rolling as an older gentleman, you know, so we can see what happens from there.
Okay, but the blue steel, give it to us. Thanks, guys. Take us back to the ring.
All right, 49 years young, Steve Cunningham, and we see a lot of elder statesmen, people coming back. Luis Ortiz will be back in the league for Miami. Here we go, a minute 20 to go with Best and Cedeno.
Yeah, Cedeno is doing some really nice work on the inside with some left hooks and straight rights. And Best is, you know, giving it a good go, but right now Cedeno, I think, has been a little bit more precise and accurate with his punches.
Good short right hand here by Cedeno, then he goes southpaw. Does eat a right hand for his efforts, and then switches over to right-hander as he's coming in.
And you know, you mentioned in the boxing outside the TBL, you know, Best at bet 8-0 and Cedeno 16-0. These are fighters that Best probably wouldn't yet be getting in the ring with Cedeno in other parts of boxing, but he is there tonight.
Yeah, you can't, on the other circuit, say, don't rush it yet. Let's marinate this. And here is it, let's get it going. You know, let's.
Yeah, I mean, and so here's the 8-0 fighter, has to step up against a guy that's a little more experienced. And Best is having some good moments. Cedeno is just, I think, a little bit more accurate with these shots and some of the counter punching.
Good right hand by Cedeno. Good work on the inside as we come to the end of round 5.
Well, Cedeno thinks that he's got it. He's in here also fresh off an April 18th stoppage win in outside of TBL. So he feels like, even though he had those 2 close losses to Molina, there's some momentum coming in here, and he's hopeful to get his first win of the season.
TBL fans, the winner of round 5 by way of unanimous decision from the Philly Smoke, Andrea Cedeno.
So the Philly train.
The score, Philly 4, Boston 1. Round 6 at super welterweight. Boston, Jaye Brown. Philly, Jason Moreno.
One of the fights in which you figured Boston might be favored. Jaye Brown, 23-7, 2 wins last week against Hadrian Phillips. Also 2 losses to Yoelis Molina. He's in his 3rd year, and he's won as many as 9 in a row. And Moreno losing a split to Giovanni Estella earlier. Did have a 10-fight win streak once. So these are 2 guys who know how to get on a roll.
And when when Jai Brown lost 2 fights to Molina, it was the first time he ever lost. It was the lost twice, and it was the first time he ever lost 2 in an evening.
Get a look at some of the key numbers for Jai Brown, and like those total net points to his team. And if you're Boston handicapping the night-long matchup, this is an important one. You're thinking this is one of your better people.
Yeah, when you look down the roster, you say, okay, Jai Brown with that good record is somebody that can get the job done. And while Jason Moreno's a good fighter, he might not rise to that level. Although Moreno does have a win over Brown in season 2 of the team boxing league.
Battle of the would-be jabs, then heads into territory in which they hold each other. Referee letting them go, and that's going to count as a knockdown. Our first of the night. Fighter complete his case. Referee says, I'm counting, and that's that. Big moment here for Philadelphia. And Jason Moreno thinking there might be more meat on that bone than just 1 extra point.
Brown hotly contesting it, but nonetheless, Moreno energized to come in. Whether Brown was or wasn't hurt, he's energized to be offensive, and he is.
You see the other fighter receiving a count. Has to shoot you full of adrenaline, and Brown is trying to make up for the lost time, and it was in a tight spot. Yeah, you get caught just the wrong way.
And for Brown, obviously, he wasn't really hurt by what happened, but nonetheless, it's a point for them, and it creates a lot of urgency by him.
And what's not spoken all that often is, even if you're 1 point ahead and then you go down, usually it ends up being the swing where you lose a 2-pointer. So it could be argued that many of these knockdowns could be a 3-point swing. All right, so we'll see how they have this bonus time in Philly.
Here's where Brown would end up hitting the mat. Well, there was a right hand in there. The question is, and we'll take another look at it, did it create the knockdown? Jai Brown pleading his case immediately from the floor.
And the referee was right there, so he made that decision, and it's big for Philly.
Winner of round 6 by unanimous decision. 2 points going to the Philly Smokes, Jason Moreno. The score, Philly 6, Boston 1. Round 7 at middleweight. Boston, Rashidi Ellis. Philly, Daytwan Garrett.
All right, so Rashidi Ellis, a sight for sore eyes for Boston. 32-4 in this league, 7-1 this year.
That's pretty good.
Take that. 2 wins over Isaiah Elrod last week. Has had a win streak as much as 10. And Garrett lost to Lasha Gugliani, split with Raul Garcia. So on an experience level, this is Boston's best fighter.
Yeah, this is the first debut season for Garrett in the TBL, and he's only had 2 fights at pro outside of this, so he had a good amateur career. He was in a number of national amateur tournaments from 2018 to 2023, so he's a good fighter, but you know, Ellis, not only great in TBL, also someone, as you look at his numbers, also somebody who in the pro ranks beyond it is a top contender at 154 and 147, though he's fighting at middleweight tonight. He's been in with some of the best.
Add up his TBL and mark outside boxing, you have 60 and 5 for Rashidi Ellis. And yeah, he might be thinking this is the time to try and get not only a win but bonus points for his team, which has been sliding, and he might be their best power chance.
Yeah, and this season he scored 3 knockdowns, so those 3 extra points that he has created. He's not by nature thought of as a power puncher in boxing, but he's done this season with those 3 knockdowns. That's really pretty impressive for him.
I think he's adjusted a little bit this year with the new rules coming, that you can get 4 points for your team if you're able to score a knockout. We've seen him sit down a little bit more in his punches, especially with his right hand, and take a shot.
Yeah, I agree, Dave. And that right has created several of those knockdowns. Very high guard being employed by Garrett.
And peekaboo fashion for Garrett. Punches bouncing off the gloves.
Ellis just looking for someplace he can go. He's not by nature a body puncher, though he does punch the body. So that's, while that looks like a more intriguing option, he may not be in position to throw a lot of body shots where they're at.
And you look at where the elbows are of his opponent, pretty well blocked up. It's a priority of defense first, second, and third.
Yeah, the problem for Garrett here is that the only punches are coming from Ellis. And so, you know, whether you block them all or only a portion of them, you're not creating offense for yourself. Nice right hook downstairs by Garrett.
And so Ellis pretty much had to pepper him and found he could get some shots in, but he was practically untouched.
Well, Ellis was the one doing the punching, and some of the punches did get in. You see this right hand land beautifully, and we talked about how he's sitting down in that right and doing a better job with it. And there was one of the body punches that he did throw. So Rashidi Ellis looks like he's carved out a win.
Boxing League fans, the winner of round 7 by way of unanimous decision. From the Boston Butchers, Rashidi Ellis. The score, Philly 6, Boston 2.
I'm sure that you're that graphic at the top of the Ellis family.
Our
2 wins for the family already.
Round 8 in the heavyweight division. Boston, Michael Coffey. Philly, Concha Nathan.
And Michael Coffey, 8-8 in TBL. Win over Stefan Moss in his last. He's 1-1 this year. Concha Nathan, 4-4 this year. Had an important role of not being stopped when he fought Kai Brooks with his team trying to hold on to a lead. Lost last 2 to Devon Young and Eric Ross.
And he is 1-1 over his TBL time against Michael Coffey. Polite is an additional name that he uses. And so it's been close between these two.
Take a look at some significant stats for Concha Nathan, including his total net points. See that record? I mean, up and down. You get some runs, and then you get some losses.
And this season has been, you know, a roller coaster for him. That knockout win over Michael Cerini, and then a war with, in a couple of cases, Dusan Vilacek. He had a war with him. Ended up winning that one.
Waiting to see who makes the big move here.
Yeah, Conjure Nathan is one of those people, when you just when you least expect that some overhand right's going to get uncorked and cause some damage.
And Coffey trying to bait him with where he's had his left hand. Now it's up, but it was down before. So that's a good jab to the body by Conjure Nathan, taking what is offered to him right here and trying to split the gloves with a two-punch combination.
Yeah, and the 39-year-old Coffey, you know, outside of the TBL, he's been in with some top heavyweights. He went over to England, fought Fabio Wardley, and acquitted himself pretty well in that fight, and had an 8-round loss to Price Taylor, who also fights here in the TBL. I announced that fight, and Coffey's problem sometimes is just he doesn't create enough offense, and that's really a problem if you only got one round.
And he has been economical with his punches. You talk about study long, study wrong. And while he's doing that, a jab by Nathan gets in.
Yeah, this has been a very strategic affair. Each man looks like they're looking for the one punch, and Nathan turns lefty for a little bit. Now, Coffey's a pretty good body puncher. There's nice right by Nathan, but he can throw body punches in that posture, but he didn't.
And then there's the tie-up by Nathan. So the body war never got started. They know it's the last few seconds. They heard the tapping at ringside. So they try to get into a little bit more, but it becomes a grappling affair at the end.
Well, Conjure Nathan, we saw a smile on his face, and he's one of those people that I think wears a perpetual smile, and he's always a joy to be around for everybody. And we'll see if this becomes a fight that can narrow the margin or build it for the Philly Smoke.
TBL fans, the winner of round 8 by split decision from Philly, Conjure Nathan.
So Conjure Nathan gets his second all-time win against Michael Coffey. He's now 2-1 against him, and that ends the opening rounds with Philadelphia really getting the job done here. And speaking of great matches, we're going to have another one coming up this weekend. Here's Dave to tell you about it.
Thanks, Al. We're all excited about what we've seen so far. To cap off the week, we've got Nashville against Miami with a special treat. The return of the King. Nashville and Miami will face it off, and this man will be making his TBL debut, Luis King Kong Ortiz. Remember him? He was an interim champion and defended his heavyweight title. He will be on display as you get to see the return of King Kong on TBL to wrap up the week.
Philadelphia Smoke enjoying its home confines. It's in Harris Chester, but the Philly team way ahead of Boston, 7-2 as we come to the end of the launch rounds. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein with you as we recap what we saw in the launch rounds and an extremely impressive performance up and down by this Philadelphia team.
Yeah, we talked at the top of the show about the depth of this Philly lineup, and it was on full display in those launch rounds because everybody stepped up to the plate, including in the little grievance match.
And let's take a look at that because there was a lot of talk by Sage Rosario going against Stacia Suttles, and this did live up to the billing.
Yeah, Rosario came out doing exactly what she did when we first saw her on TBL, winging away and landing some good power punches. But you see the sneaky right hand in there from Suttles, and Suttles was able to, while Rosario landed a lot of big shots, Suttles was able to land some good straight shots up the middle. Very close round. Suttles got the nod.
So we saw some versatility for her, and that helped Philly turn a corner and then make a big lead a couple rounds later.
Yeah, this was a match in which Jair Brown of Boston was thought to maybe be somebody that could stop the bleeding for them, but instead, this was called a knockdown. It was a right hand that kind of to the chest that created the knockdown and it created a 2-point round for Philadelphia, and that was kind of a seminal moment, I think, in the launch rounds.
So Philly able to widen its lead with those two matches that we saw you. And you know something? We should take another look at it again because these two women are going to go at it again in the middle rounds, and that's our round to watch.
Yeah, round 11. And, you know, when you look back at the first encounter between these two, you can make a strong case that was so close it might have even been a split decision. And Rosario landed a lot of good power punches. The judges felt Suttles had countered well enough. They're going to do it again, and I think it's going to look just like the first one.
Yes, and we'll see how that comes out on the scorecards. Let's take it in for the middle rounds, and here's Ray Flores.
We begin the middle rounds between the Boston Butchers and Philly Smoke, round 9. At featherweight, Boston, Brandy Robinson. Philly, Lissandra Contreras.
So we saw Robinson early on have a tough time catching up with Ellis, but she still fought well. An interesting style that she brought into that, trying to make it a lower scoring affair. So let's see how she does against a different opponent here.
Yeah, Robinson's been impressive in her last couple of fights, and again, against Ellis, that's a tough assignment to be sure.
Take a look at the key numbers for Contreras, 21-year-old Newark, New Jersey, 4-1 in TBL. Had a split with Natalie Zempoteka, win over Kayleigh Knight and Janelle Rafiq, so she has adapted quickly and well.
Yeah, that win over Rafiq was a knockout and created 4 points for her team. So, you know, she's done extremely well here in this season.
Warning about the shoulders and the heads coming together.
And, you know, Robinson moved a lot in that first match. Not moving as much here against Contreras. She's willing to stay in the pocket more and try and get some things done.
Yeah, she had a style that maybe almost worked as well as she wanted in the first fight. It was a good way to try to go after Ellis, but this is a different style for her. She's finding herself in a slugfest and being driven back by Contreras.
Yeah, I mean, Contreras, you know, I mentioned the 20-3 record coming in for all the women of the Philly Smoke. And Contreras, you know, with the 4-1 record this season, her debut season, she's contributed to that. So she's not like a super weak link in this women's lineup for Philadelphia.
Yeah, they picked up Suttles in the offseason. They find Lysander Contreras, and they're well stocked in a key area. We talk about the women and how important it is to have a strong women's contingent if you're going to contend, and Philly has it.
Robinson has been moving a lot here in the second part of this round. Her problem with all that is she's not getting a lot of offense done. There's a jab, but she, there's not a lot of offense with this lateral movement.
But she wanted to, try to negate Shaquille Ellis, and here she's being out-muscled by Contreras. So she found a more willing stylistic partner, but it hasn't been easy for her to find an offense.
Well, neither woman, I don't think, really did as much offensively as they would have liked in that match, but it looked like Contreras was doing a little bit more, and certainly was being the pursuer. And there's an overhand right that landed for Contreras in the middle portion of the round, and a little bit of a hook there. And you see she's the one coming in and really doing the offensive work, landing a short little hook. So it was just more of it by her. There was Robinson trying to do some good work offensively.
TBO fans, the winner of round 9 by way of unanimous decision. From the Philly Smoke, Lysandra Contreras. The score, Philadelphia 8, Boston 2.
All right, so now Francisco
Round 10
Rodriguez.
at lightweight. Boston, Herbrew Francois. Philly, Francisco Rodriguez.
Rodriguez will try to get his first double this year. He showed some sharp hand speed in beating Francois earlier tonight.
And Francois on this one, I think, would want to get off to a much quicker start. Even when he did do some good offensive work, he came too late in the round against Rodriguez. And Rodriguez kind of returning to form that he had last season. And this season's been a little bit of a down one for him, coming in here with a 1-4 mark that he's added a win to.
Well, we talked about the family affair earlier on. Well, Avril is with at least Rashidi Ellis, and looks like maybe a coupling. Go ahead.
I am here ringside with Rashidi Ellis, one of the more successful members of Team Boxing League, 28-1 as a pro, now 33-4 in Team Boxing League. You have a brother on the same team. You have a sister tonight boxing on the opposite team. Are you guys all going to go out to dinner afterwards, or does the rivalry go all season?
It depends how the night goes. Yeah, we're going to go and have some fun after.
And how was that growing up in your household? What was the sibling rivalry like? Tell me about it.
Before they used to jump me, her and my sister. My sister. Right, Mom? My mom's over there somewhere.
Is that how you got into boxing?
Yeah. Nah, but he's the one that started, and me and my sister follow along.
And so how do you attribute this dynamic in the household growing up to the success that you've had in boxing now?
It came all together, everything that we've been through. And you see the hard work and talent that we put in the ring.
Well, great job tonight getting the win. Guys, take us back to the ring.
All right, so 2/3 of the Ellis trifecta. We heard from them, the little sibling rivalry, and here we got 1:15 left. Francois and Rodriguez in their rematch.
Yeah, and Rodriguez trying to revisit that right hand that landed so often in their first match. This one a little bit more tactical than the first round that they fought against each other. And Rodriguez was switches lefty here momentarily. He still tried to be the aggressor.
Some pretty good work on the southpaw side from Rodriguez. We don't see this too much from him.
No, I was a little surprised to see him switch.
22-year-old living in Atlantic City. He's in the casino business, has worked in security. Got a 8-0 record away from TBL and is in 6-round company. So a lot on the horizon for him.
And every fight outside of the TBL he's won has been by KO, so he's got pop. And he tried to put that into effect with those right hands tonight.
And so good finish for Rodriguez.
Yeah, he was trying to get those right hands in on the inside, and there was the hook that he showed us as well. So he was the aggressor in these 2 rounds against Francois. The question is, did he do enough offense to win the second one, as he did the first?
TBL fans, the winner of round 10 by way of unanimous decision from the Philly Smoke, Francisco Rodriguez.
A double for the Cisco Kid.
Round 11 at super lightweight Boston, Sage Rosario. Philly, Deja Suttles.
So we talk about adjustments, but there's also the thought that this might be a carbon copy stylistically. So let's see how this does play out. Sage Rosario and Stacia Suttles. Excellent fight the first time, way back in round 4. Won by Suttles.
And you know, you would expect Rosario to again be the attacker. The question is, can she do it without getting hit by what the judges felt were enough counter punches by Suttles? And here, what we see already from Rosario, using the jab more than she did to work her way in the last round, or when we saw her in her previous fight.
And the understanding that you just cannot walk in against the better fighters in the league.
And Rosario, you know, is a national champion, 3-time women's wrestling champion in Kansas. So she's, you know, an all-around athlete.
Suttles trying to give her a comeuppance, but Rosario remains aggressive.
Yeah, she's attacking differently in this round, though. She's using the jab exclusively, not stepping in as quickly as she did in those other rounds. But in some ways, though, this also plays into Suttle's hands because Suttle has a little more, she's used to that style.
And she can sit in the pocket, throw those jabs, and maybe catch Rosario coming in.
See, now Rosario didn't stay on the inside there and try and muscle her and throw those hooks and some of those power punches. So you would expect her to do that in there.
Suttles launched a would-be big right hand. There's a good left hook by Rosario. Good answer from Suttles. Good right hand by Suttles as they open up. Rosario trying to wage war on the inside. Suttles patient.
Rosario's trying to get that left hook in, but when she throws it, Suttles, who has a good left hook, and there it is, has been throwing that punch back again. I mean, this is the best fighter Sage Rosario's ever fought in her life.
Yeah, and
you know,
and she has acquitted herself well, but she's understanding for the first time that there's a cover charge to get inside.
And she's taking a lot of those hooks and some other punches from Suttles, as you said. It's you know, it's what you have to pay the price for if you're going to attack that way.
Suttles starting to feel it, and a little bit of like body language sass over to Rosario. There's an elbow from Suttles and then a right hand. Good combination by Suttles here as she starts to find another gear late and perhaps sensing that Rosario may be tiring a little.
Well, and after, you know, this is a response to the fact that Rosario really called her out after that last match that she won. So,
yep, this is the reaction to the sound bite. And Suttles is satisfied, and Rosario looks resigned. That image would tell you a lot about how you would feel this is going to go. A victorious look on the face of Suttles, and for Rosario, couldn't get it done.
Yeah, and, you know, Rosario took a lot of those left hooks and those straight right hands by Suttles. And Rosario, in this round, as she did in the first, got some power punches in. She landed her own hook from time to time and got some good shots. But Suttles was just more accurate. And, of course, we've talked about the fan. There was the moment where Stacia Suttles said, okay, we're where we're supposed to be here now.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 11 by way of unanimous decision. From the Philly Smoke, Stacia Suttles. The score, Philly 10, Boston 2.
No embrace between the fighters. That's a that unhappy look carries over for Rosario.
Keno Luna, Philly Isaiah Johnson.
Okay, Luna and Johnson. As Philly lead continues to balloon. Luna 1-5 this year in TBL. Lost 5 in a row, last 2 to Jasir Riley. We've seen Isaiah Johnson throughout the season be a pretty effective fighter.
Yeah, I mean, he's 6-1 this season, and he mixed in a knockdown against Estero Suero, and he's also got a knockout, the stoppage victory, so he has gotten a lot done, as those points indicate.
Tell you what, the graphic shows you that's a pretty good welterweight division up here as the season progresses.
Yep.
Johnson, Salgado, Riley, all names that have been emerging. And so Philly up 10-2. And really, with the exception of one fight, it's a methodical consistency that we talk about.
And Luna's lost a couple of split decisions this year amongst his 1-5 record in season 4. So he's kept a lot of them close, just hasn't been able to get over the hump in some.
What he's trying to do, getting over the hump here, is he's trying to land that big left hand.
And he has never beaten Johnson. He is 0-4 against Isaiah Johnson. So he's trying to get over a hurdle here. But a lot of fighters have lost to Johnson with that 27-6 all-time record that he has in TBL.
Yeah, you need a bit of a short memory if you can. Saw him beat Darian Castro. TKO to Michael Harris. He's won 3 in a row since I lost to Lionel Santana. This is the guy that just, okay, I lost one, getting right back up, getting up another win streak.
Johnson's good at using his height and reach, and when he gets on the inside like this, he'll you know, do a little holding, work a little, but then not stand in the pocket. There's some nice work though being done by Luna. And the only loss as a pro outside of TBL that Johnson had was in the Grand Prix tournament they had in Riyadh, where a number of many prospects got together to fight. Other than that, he's been perfect as a pro outside TBL.
All right, so this one goes into the hands of the judges. Luna believes that he has put Boston on the scoreboard in the middle rounds. We'll find out if he did.
Well, he's Luna, you see, trying to come in, march in, and throw those left hands. He did land some good shots against Isaiah Johnson there. He lands that good straight left hand. This battle of two lefties. See if it was enough.
TBL fans, the winner of round 12 by way of unanimous decision from the Philly Smoke, Isaiah Johnson.
So the Philly train continues to roll 11-2. Philly is perfect in the middle rounds as well. Stacia Suttles loves it. Philly fans love it. The Smoke on a roll. Back for more middle rounds right after this. Top team in the TBL, showing you how they became that. Philadelphia 11-2 halfway through. Let's go back inside for the middle rounds. And here is Ray Flores.
Round 13 at super middleweight. For Boston, Ronald Ellis. Philly, Jerome McNeil.
All right, so can Ronald Ellis make it a sweep for the Ellis family? Shaquilia and Rashidi already have victories. He is 3-3 this year in TBL. Last time he had a split over Juan Barajas. And Jamal McNeil 0-2 this year. 2 losses to Lasha Gugliani.
And the difference in experience between these two fighters, it's a big gulf. Jerome McNeil, only one pro bout outside of TBL and 0-2. We know Ronald Ellis, in addition to having all those TBL fights, is 18-5 as a pro outside of it, and he's fought really top fighters. Gave a good fight to David Benavides, fought Christian McBilly at 168 pounds, and he's been in against some really good fighters. But wow, onslaught!
Here comes McNeil, pumped up, saying it's not a 3-minute fight, maybe it's a 30-second fight, as he comes wailing out on Ronald Ellis. Sidewinding, tons of adrenaline. So will Ellis break him down, or will McNeil find some thunder here?
Well, why not if you're Jerome McNeil? You want to get your first win of the season. You're in against a veteran. Might not expect that from you.
Yeah. Team is way up. Figure maybe not much to lose. Hey, you really also can see the adrenaline, the home crowd, and fighting in front of his teammates. So it looks like that initial burst has now led us to settle in for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, it subsided a little bit, and then Ellis started to go a little bit more on the offensive. Ellis has a very good right hand, but also very good left hook. That when he throws it and doubles it to the body and the head, it's very effective.
Ellis now has become the aggressor after McNeil stormed him to start this. Other aspect, well, he'd want to find out with testing is, even though it's only one round, did McNeil take anything out of himself with that barrage early? It's only a one-round fight.
Yeah, you would think not, and then McNeil switches to righting it. So he gives a different look and goes back to the left-handed stance. He's still throwing some pretty good right hooks, McNeil.
Good right hand here by Ellis. Left hand by Ellis. Just missed with the big left hook.
McNeil's an awkward fighter, and fighting an awkward fighter, if you're Ellis, becomes a challenge. Not that Ellis hasn't seen so many different styles in the programs he has, but still, not that easy.
The guy comes out like a buzzsaw. That's the first minute. And then he's tying up in the last minute.
And an irony, in his only pro fight, Jerome McNeil lost to his, outside of TBL, lost to one of his Philly teammates, Zaire Jefferson.
It's the final seconds. Fight with many different personalities inside one round.
Yeah, you are right. This is the symbol of boxing matches. There was a lot going on. Well, it started out with McNeil racing across the ring. He did sneak in a couple of these punches, and Ellis doing a pretty good job of turtling up, but then Ellis got back on the offensive after that initial burst by McNeil. And we did, as you say, have very different aspects to that round.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 13 by split decision from the Boston Butchers, Ronald Ellis.
A lot of different ways to interpret it, and now the Ellis family gets their sweep tonight.
Round 14 at light heavyweight. Boston, Steve Sumter. Philly, Jesse Hart.
All right, so Sumter only win in his last 7 was a disqualification victory, 10-16 now in TBL. And Jesse Hart, 30-6. Had a 15-2 run in 2025. Now won his last 4. Had a couple losses in between to Johanna Martinez, one of the nicer emerging fighters in TBL.
Yeah, and Sumter in the past is 1-3 against Jesse Hart. And you see how Hart has done this season. He chronicled how well he has done, and he had part of the reason why he got all those points is he had a knockout of DeAndre Pettis and Randy Slanger, so he showed the power.
You know, he is a leader on the team. Also somebody you think possibly could be a coach in this league at some point, of this team particularly, because he knows them so well. Double jab here by Hart. What the veterans often show us is they know how to turn it up in notches at certain times and have like a 45-second burst, and then certainly do one at the end.
Yeah, Sumter's problem has been he just has not been able to generate much offense, and that's why he's got that 1-6 record. And as you point out, the one win was only from a DQ. He was not actually knocked down, and it would have been a win from New York, but he was hit by McCalman on the mat. So he just hasn't been able to generate a lot of offense. And for Hart, the only 2 losses this year to Martinez, Martinez, who is a monster and is fighting great. So that's not, a big black mark against him.
And as we saw on the graphic display, number 1 and number 2 now in the division. Philly missed Hart in the Mega Brawl last year against New York. He had a fight coming up, which eventually actually did not happen for him, but unavailable. And then New York did the impossible of impossible feats in winning a whole string of money rounds to snare the Mega Brawl.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have loved to have had Jesse Hart in that lineup. And even in his last pro fight back on January 24th last year, he lost to Khalil Coe, who's a top contender, the majority decision. So this 36-year-old has plenty in the tank.
So Jesse Hart figures that he got this with good boxing skills over Steven Sumter.
You talked about his possibilities of mentor. He's mentoring Sumter right now.
Yes, yes.
Talking to him a little bit about the effort and everything. And, you know, Hart, that was a tactical fight for Hart. But as you point out, he probably feels he did enough.
The winner of round 14 by unanimous decision from the Philly Smoke, Jesse Hart.
Hey, if you meant to the other fighter, you better have won.
Good point.
Round 15 at cruiserweight, Boston, Miguel Lateo. Philly, Steve Cunningham Sr.
We heard from Cunningham Sr. earlier, one of the nice guys on the circuit, enjoying this run. Teo avenged a KO loss to Niesca Gonzalez earlier this year. He went 1-1 that night. And they got a nice win over D'Angelo Leachman, who's a high-quality fighter. Cunningham Sr., 82-inch reach with the fights against Tomasz Adamek. Tarver was at that fight, the draw with Tarver. Big names.
Well, Teo has fought before against Cunningham. Cunningham's 1-0 against him. So Teo lost that, and he's coming out kind of aggressive here, trying to see if he can alter that dynamic.
I think when you go against a 49-year-old, I mean, we saw the veteran moves by Hart. Yep, maybe made it about a 1-minute 40-second round with all the movement, the tying up that he can do. You really want to try and make Cunningham fight 3 minutes.
Yeah, and that's what Teo kind of started to do here, pushing back. And you know, Cunningham's been 3-5 this season. It's been up and down kind of season for him.
Certainly making the most of this time to pop in on a league that did not exist throughout all of his professional career. And just be part of it.
Yeah, to fight on the same team as his son is also, you know, a joy. And he's given a good account. You know, 49 years of age, he's given a good account of himself in this league. When he fought Niesca Gonzalez, who's a 40-year-old, he split with him, and we made the point that usually if you're a 40-year-old, you're not going to be fighting a man who's 9 years older than you. You're not usually the youngest in the
No.
Gonzalez was.
And then 49 years old and fighting twice in a night. So
yeah, that's another thing. Good jab by Cunningham, and Teo urges him to keep coming on, and boy, he nails him, Teo with a beautiful right, didn't he?
Really, he got the 49-year-old to come to him.
Teo really did stop his aggression, though, didn't he, a lot in this round? And I don't know, I think he gave Cunningham a chance to get back into things.
All right, so they'll tap it up and we'll head to the scorecards.
Well, did Miguel Teo in his burst in the early part of the round, was that enough for him to turn things around after having lost once before to Steve Cunningham?
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 15 by unanimous decision from the Boston Butchers, Miguel Teo.
Quietly, Miguel Teo compiling some wins.
Our final middle round will be in the heavyweight division. For Boston, Skylar Lacey. Philly, Stephen Williams.
Skylar Lacey, 8-1 outside TBL, 29-9 here. A 13-fight win streak. Much of that last year is his best. That was his really his best run ever. He's 4-2 this year. A couple of wins last time over Danny Barlow. Stephen Williams 1-2. We saw him with a win over Alonzo Neal, who's on a recent show for us. And there are some of the key particulars for Skylar Lacey.
Yeah, and he pushed that record to 6-2 with 2 wins over Danny Barlow in week 9. And he has never had a losing season in team boxing with his 29-9 record, so it's very impressive.
One thing about him, unflappable. You could not get him to commit to a slugging type style unless there's a very good reason for it, which we did see in one of his past outings. He lost the first fight, and so he became more aggressive the second time. Got a split.
Yeah, he's it's not, his style is herky-jerky and it may look awkward, but it's boxing. He boxes. He uses the jab. He uses enough movement, and he is very much a boxer.
And he's comfortable in this style, and we see it's not easy for opponents to take him out of that comfort zone. And here we see Williams trying by coming straight at him, and then the shoulder after he felt that Lacey was holding too much. Referee will have to get involved in advising the fighters here.
Yeah, and Williams, the 30-year-old who's 3-0 in the pro ranks outside of TBL, and he split his last time out, losing to Eric Ross and beating Alonzo Neal. And he'd like to see if he could get in close enough to do some good offensive work against Lacey.
And when he's gotten close, Lacey ties him up. Hence the shoulder for Williams coming up.
Yeah, Skylar Lacey has no interest in fighting on the inside. That is not what he feels like ever doing. He wants this jab, straight right hand somewhere. Not everything landing, but keeping his opponent at bay.
Good left hook by Williams. Interesting now Lacey did come straight at him. Considering his movement, waiting for Williams to try to cut off the ring a little bit better, and he hasn't.
Has not been able to do that. And you have to do that if you're going to fight Lacey, because he will use all the ring.
Good right hand there by Lacey. So this one was vintage Skylar Lacey.
It really was.
And the question for him will he get his classic result of a victory?
That would push him to 30 wins in TBL, which would be very impressive. That's rarefied air in this league.
It is. We've seen a few people cross over. Rashidi Ellis crossed over this year into it. A few fighters have that. Yeah, that's... Both fighters being warned for possible infractions, mouthing off.
Well, he got a lecture, but he might get a win. Good left hook there by Williams. That was early on in the round. And then during a good portion of it, and that was a good moment for him. But most of the round was taken up with the jab and the straight right hands from that man, Skylar Lacey. And he's feeling it.
TBL fans, the winner of round 16 by way of unanimous decision from the Boston Butchers, Skylar Lacey.
So a little mini comeback from Boston here at the end of the middle rounds with 2 straight wins, and that inches them just a little bit closer, but still a big edge. And you want to know where you can watch the TBL? Dave Bontempo is going to tell you.
Thanks, Hal. We're enjoying the action. People ask us, where can we see TBL? Where can we see you guys? Well, there are a lot of places we have been seen. You can watch us on MSG Networks and the Gotham Sports app, as well as on our home network, Envoy Fast. Plus, the full season of Encores are on Envoy TV every day. Download the Envoy app. Connected TV users with Samsung, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, and LG devices can download the TBL app and watch both live action and play previous matches on demand. TBL is also seen on YouTube, the TBL app, and in Spanish on the Estrella Network.
Great. Great night in Philly. Stacia Suttles likes it with 2 wins. They got the knockdowns. They got the big lead. It's 12-5. Boston saying, what happened to us? They're still in it, but a celebration has unfurled. We've had some great fights and some good storylines as this has gone Philly's way so far, 12-5 after the middle rounds. They like it in the home of Rocky. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein with you through there. So Philly didn't quite run away and hide because Boston came back a little bit. But I think the star performers earned their stripes in the middle rounds overall.
Yeah, exactly. The people that we thought were going to probably propel Philly did exactly that. And there were a couple of Boston performers like Skylar Lacey, who is so solid for them, who came through as well.
We talked about the Philadelphia women increasing that team. Let's take a look at a couple of fighters who did well in the middle rounds of this, and it all started in round number 9.
Yeah, Alessandra Contreras pushing forward against Brandy Robinson and doing some good offensive work. Part of the women's contingent that came into this match tonight with a total 20-3 record this season. She adds another win to the ledger.
All right, so this was the vindictive series here with Stacia Suttles responding to Sage Rosario's talk from last week.
Yeah, bold statements by Rosario, and Suttles took it to heart, won the first encounter they had, and then did even better, I think, in the second one. A lot of power punches landed by Suttles. Rosario was aggressive. She landed some shots, but had defensive liabilities, and Suttles thought to remind her there, hey, guess what? You got to show a little respect to me.
And Rosario did not like this. They did not embrace in the sportsmanship immediately after. You know, we talk about this Philly team. There are some great fighters. Now, by the way, okay, they're getting Francisco Rodriguez rolling again. He's been under the radar for them. And we talked about the women. Now you got Contreras, now you got Suttles, and you've got Ellis, of course. And all of a sudden, you know, inside all of the big Philadelphia big number, we're seeing some segments of that, and the women have really held up here.
They really have, and I mentioned there were 20-3 coming in this season. That's a pretty extraordinary record, and they are adding plentifully to it tonight.
All right, let's take a look at the round to watch. We've already seen the competitor Skylar Lacey, and he got a nice win for Boston. We've seen Conja Nathan. Now we'll see them together.
Yeah, in round 20, heavyweights. And yes, both already have a win here tonight. And they've been in the ring against each other 4 times. Skylar Lacey would like to get the win because guess what? Conja Nathan is 3-1 against Skylar Lacey. It'll be interesting to see.
All right, so that's heating up tonight, and King is coming back. Luis Ortiz for Miami. Miami will be taking on Nashville. Another example of a champion who's found TBL as a place, hey, let me jump in and have some fun.
Yeah, Luis Ortiz, a force in the heavyweight division for a long, long time, and I think everyone's excited to see him in the TBL.
Yeah, he had the title for a while, great fights with Deontay Wilder and entertainment all the way through. So that will be Nashville tomorrow night, Miami to conclude the week. All right, let's go inside and pick up the money rounds of this one.
We begin the money rounds between the Boston Butchers and Philly Smoke. And light heavyweight for Boston, round 17, it is Steve Sumter. Philly, Jesse Hart.
We saw them not too long ago, and Jesse Hart with a workmanlike, methodical triumph over Steve Sumter, and then looked like he mentored him a little bit, but didn't give him too many tips because they're facing each other right now.
Yeah, quick turnaround for these two, for sure. And Sumter, as we mentioned, looking for a little more offense. And we'll see if he can find it here. It's been a problem for him in this Team Boxing League season. And Hart coming out much more aggressive than we saw even in the last fight. And a reminder of his record, which got boosted with that win earlier.
He scored a knockout in his first appearance this year, and it turned around a fight that Philly was having with New York. It put Philly in front and changed the dynamics all the way through, and then Philly pulled away late. It was the first time in the league that we had the 4 points for the knockout, and he was the first fighter to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that was a big moment, and you can make the case that kind of ignited this season for, as you pointing out, for Philly, and now here they are sitting here undefeated with a lead here tonight.
That win shook the bad taste from them, as they had lost the Mega Brawl to New York, and they were losing that night. And since then, they have been a different team. So fighters being warned here, low blow, so they'll give you some time, and they're back.
Yeah, Sumter, you know, he's 11-2 in pro boxing outside of TBL with 9 KOs, but that offense has not translated to his team boxing league performances. He's 10-17 now in the team boxing, and in the midst of probably the worst season he's had.
Yeah, and if you're going to defeat Jesse Hart, you have to take the Johanna Martinez route and make him uncomfortable, and try to drive him back and make him fight off of his heels. If you don't, he can be a showman like this all night.
Well, he's good. He's a good ring technician. That's what brought him to the cusp of being a light heavyweight champion, 168-pound champion. He was very close in that regard. So, you know, those skills are what got him there. And in fact, he challenged twice for a 168-pound world title and didn't get over the hump on that, but showed himself to be a real true contender. And here in Team Boxing League, he's found a nice home where, you know, as we point out, he's crossed into the 30 win situation, and you know, he's done a great job.
And is viewed as the vocal leader on this team, so he has another role besides just being a good fighter. I mean, you look at him, and don't you get the idea? He'd have to be in charge wherever he was.
Yeah.
I'm the captain. That's just the way he assumes his roles, and people around him acknowledge it. So hard work, Hart. As he may have made that look easy.
Yeah, there was one point where it was a little dicey for him. A low blow from Sumter. Oh boy, yeah, that was unquestionably low. I don't think intentional, but it got there very low, and then Hart having his moments later in the round, landing a nice straight right hand.
Partially impacted by, with Sumter coming forward and Hart's hand around him. So,
TBL fans, the winner of round 17 by way of unanimous decision. From the Philly Smoke, Jesse Hart.
That's a no surprise there, and then
round 18 at middleweight.
Another stalwart on the way.
Boston Rashidi Ellis, Philly Daquan Garrett.
All right, so Ellis did what Ellis does in their first matchup, coming in with a victory and looking pretty unflappable with it.
We'll see if his opponent comes out with the same high guard that he showed the last time.
And there's that sneaky right hand by Ellis, right at the top of the leaderboard, as he's added to his net value with the win tonight. And that's a very good list of fighters in the middleweight division in TBL for the men.
And we're going to see Elrod against the Nashville Smash this weekend. There's Elrod, a solid lefty.
Ellis has added the right hand with power intentions this year to his attack. It's gotten him a knockdown, and we see him looking for it more.
And he's fighting in a weight class higher than where he normally would be. He's at 160. I mean, he was actually at 147 when he was making a serious run for a title. Now he's at 154 and still highly ranked, of course. But so 160 is high for him to show power, but he has.
You're just seeing more of a sense of purpose for him, and at least trying for that, as opposed to simply being content to rack up a W. Yeah, and one of the things that could drive that is when they put up the standings for net points. Now you have a 4-pointer on there somewhere, and you become the leader of the division, and the fighters look at that as a reference point.
Garrett in these two matches has just not thrown enough punches. He's been so economical in throwing punches, and I mean that's the understatement.
Yeah, you wait, and then if that's your moment, now you have to unload with a combination. If that's your strategy to start with. If you don't manage to do that, then this guy can just sit in his comfort zone the entire fight.
And hitting Rashidi Ellis isn't all that easy, so he's a good defensive fighter as well.
Gives you a pretty good illustration. Then the quickness as he shuffles over to the side, lands a left hook to the body, a right uppercut, a straight right hand. So he showed a lot of things that make him difficult to key on in that one sequence.
You know, there was a nice right hand by Garrett, a right hook that got in there, but those have been so few and far between in these two encounters.
He did break a sweat. He hustled.
Yeah, there was, you know, good work on the inside also by Ellis there, and that was that nice right hand that landed by Garrett, and a straight left as well. So there were a couple of offensive moments for him, but boy, they were few and far between.
TBL fans, the winner of round 18 by unanimous decision from the Boston Butchers, Rashidi Ellis.
So the double for Rashidi Ellis.
Gee, that's never happened before.
Boy, the Ellises had
round
almost all Boston's points.
Welterweight, Boston, Javon Bess. Philly, Isaiah Johnson.
All right, so Johnson and Bess. You know, what makes this impressive from the Philadelphia standpoint is we just saw a Boston team win so impressively last week.
Yep.
So this is a team that rocked and then not being able to do much against Philadelphia.
Yeah, they were very impressive against Nashville, won by a substantial margin. And you're right, for that to be turned around so dramatically here tonight in a match that really, honestly, there hasn't really been a point here where we're 100% sure they're in the match.
All right, so it's been a big night for the Ellis family, and Avril is standing by. Go ahead.
Yes, guys, I'm near ringside with Shaquilla Ellis, the sister to the guys that I spoke to earlier. She's a superstar in her own right. She was an Olympian, 2022 amateur world champion, and as a pro, she is undefeated. She's never lost a fight in the TBL in your second season now.
No, right now, till this day, yeah.
That's right, you won tonight, of course. How, growing up in a house full of boxers, how was that, and how do you feel like that shaped your success as a professional?
Well, I was always like a little scrapper when I was younger, so like, my dad just put me in the gym with my brothers as a punishment because I was always fighting outside. So I got to the gym and I started beating up people without getting in trouble. I loved it, you know? And look at me now.
That's right, and Rashidi told me that you used to beat him up as a kid.
Yeah, I did until he got bigger, and then I'm like, all right, I'm not messing with you no more.
And so, how does it feel to watch your brothers fight in the ring tonight when you're on the other side?
Oh, it felt good, you know. I see that they're doing good, they're improving, but I can't cheer as much as I wanted to, you know, because I got my team to cheer for. So I just stay quiet and, you know, head.
Well done to your whole family tonight. Take us back to the ring, guys.
All right, well, I wasn't there, but I think I have my money on who might have provoked most of the confrontations.
I believe you are correct in that assumption.
All right, Johnson and Best going at it here with 40 seconds to go.
Johnson with a really nice combination there. He is such a good combination puncher. Tall lefty that he can move his hands, and that's been a problem for Best tonight against Johnson. Isaiah Johnson, I mean, if he can pull this victory out here, he's going to be 8-1 this season. That's really an impressive record, to be sure, and kind of exemplifies what this Philly Smoke team has been all about.
Yes, an unsung 8-1.
Yeah.
A guy that nobody talks about.
No, you're absolutely right. That's a very good point. And I mean, he's put together good wins against Renier Salgado, Darian Castro, among others, two top fighters.
So this one goes to the judges. We await the verdict for that. Quiet night for the power, but good consistency on the boxing end for Philadelphia.
Yeah, we've seen 1 2-point round, and that's been it.
TBL fans, the winner of round 19 by unanimous decision. From the Philly Smoke, Isaiah Johnson.
Right, solid consistency for Philly, and here's our round to watch.
Round 20 at heavyweight, Boston, Skylar Lacey. Philly, Concha Nathan.
Here's a nice matchup overall. We talked about Nathan coming in 4-4 this year, 22-15 in TBL, and 3-1 overall against Skylar Lacey.
Yeah, they are. It is interesting because in terms of body type, style, they are so different. Concha Nathan would like to get in there and create a little brawl going. And Skylar Lacey, the big, tall fighter, would like to just peck away from the outside as much as he could.
So Nathan, historically, has been able to keep him from doing that. Kai Brooks, 11 points, leading the circuit. Lacey has managed to get up there. So Villalobos with a knockout to get himself up to 6. Tavoris Veen, also known earlier as Tavoris Barnes. So
he's been performing very well lately.
Yeah.
And Villalobos, 2 big knockouts that made a big impact for his team. Now Nathan, you know, he's using the jab. He can't use that jab to kind of walk in and then create the overhand rights and the left hooks, but he hasn't been able to cut the distance yet.
No, and Lacey is getting off first. They're trying to send the message that he wants to stay in his comfort zone. Then a looping right by Lacey.
You know, Skylar Lacey doesn't even expect to land all those right hands he throws. I mean, he does it just to freeze the other fighter and just create that geography that he wants.
That he's willing to use part of his offense just as a distraction that you can't get going. And you don't see too many heavyweights willing to do that.
No, and because he's such a volume puncher. Nathan is going to need to cut some distance here. He just can't get there with the right hand yet. Hasn't really tried the left hook very much.
Lacey, one of his best attributes is with this style, not biting off more than he can chew.
Well, you make the point, the fighter's not being greedy, and that's a good way to put it, because if they can win two minutes of a round or 2:15 of a round, you know, they don't have to score monstrous punches. And here we're almost down to the end of this round, and Nathan has never lured Lacey into anything remotely resembling a firefight.
No, Lacey stays outside, circles, and is basically sending the message, you want it, you have to come and get me. I'm not going into your power zone. And for a guy that was 1 of 3 against this opponent, Skylar Lacey has almost toyed with him.
Yeah, very good point. I mean, you look at it and you say, how is that the case? But there are many fights where Conjure Nathan's been able to lure his opponents into a big brawl with him, and it's been to his advantage. Not so much with Lacey, and certainly not tonight.
So Skylar Lacey, against an opponent with a winning record, does a beautiful job in this one.
Yeah, he did, you know, the things that we're used to seeing from him. Using the jab there, you know, not a lot landing there. This was actually one of the rare occurrences where he was on the inside, kind of trading with Nathan. That was toward the end of the round. But Skylar Lacey looks for all the world like he carved out a win for himself here and for Boston.
TBL fans, the winner of round 20 by way of unanimous decision from the Boston Butcher, Skylar Lacey.
So Skylar Lacey continues his excellence as Boston hanging in Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence, historical significance in Philly, and a 7-point lead for their TBL team. The Philly smoke picking away. This is Philly being Philly. Let's go back inside for the final 4 rounds.
Round 21 at welterweight. Boston, Kino Luna. Philly, Hendry Cedeno.
All right, Luna versus Cedeno. Philly sitting in a comfortable spot right now. Trying to go 6-0. Luda, we mentioned, coming in 1-5 this year, and lost 5 in a row. That streak got extended.
Daniel got his first win of the season earlier this evening against Luna, and I'd like to add to that.
Yeah, a guy with a glittering record outside TBL. I mean, he also had an 11-fight win streak. So trying to mention that he'll try to become prominent here.
And the 2 losses he's had this season to Yoelis Molina, both split decisions against a very, very good fighter. So,
absolutely.
And he's got to be in the pursuer here now against Luna.
Good left hook to the body here by Cedeno. Then the tying up. Good right hand. And some good body work here by Cedeno. Uppercut.
You know, I thought Cedeno, who has some pop in his punches, I thought Luna felt his power a little in that first match, and he's certainly feeling it here in the second one, because he's kind of turtling up and not really looking for offense, just trying to kind of get by.
Yeah, and he gets nailed, and he may not get by. He's got 45 seconds to go. At least Cedeno may not think he'll get by because he lands a good right hand and an uppercut. And here comes Cedeno thinking bonus. He's got them all. All 4 for Cedeno. You put the pressure on, and the referee may buy your closing arguments. So how about that for Cedeno? Not only his first win, a stoppage on top of that. What a night.
Well, tonight he has turned things around. We mentioned that was that big left hook that hurt his opponent, and for Cedeno, he just continued the offensive onslaught against Luna, and the referee stopped it, and no real protest from Luna. That left hook really had an impact from him, and you know, Cedeno has 12 knockouts in boxing outside of team boxing, so he's got some pop, and he used it tonight. Yeah,
Cedeno did not let him off the hook. He's seen that in any circuit. He sees that, you know, you've heard a fighter, and from that spot after that right hand, Luna could never find a safe place, and so we have our first stoppage of the night worth 4 points. And
ladies and gentlemen,
the quick one.
Referee in charge Eric Donnelly waves off the round at 2 minutes 20 seconds of round 21. For your winner by TKO, 4 points going to the Philly Smokes, Henry Cedeno.
Another unsung member of the Smoke.
Round 22.
How deep this team is.
Boston Alexi De La Cruz, Philly Angel Hernandez.
All right, 3 rounds to go. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein with you as the Philly Smoke virtuoso performance tonight against a very good Boston team that had just come up the week before with a nice victory. So this is quite a performance by the Philly Smoke.
Yeah, and Hernandez trying to turn things around from where they were at earlier this evening with his fight with Alexi De La Cruz. De La Cruz having, as we said, a very, very good season. And he's now 7-1 for the season. And this is his debut season, so he's doing very well.
Been a real asset. So, of course, even with the issue no longer in doubt, try to get as many points as you can. Tie-breaking situations for down the road for playoffs. So every point matters, not only you know, for your teammates and your coaches, for you to stay in the lineup. It does help your team. This has been quite a Philly team we have seen tonight.
Yeah, that's for sure. And Hernandez, he tried to get that left hook on track in the first match. He nailed Dela Cruz with one a little while ago, and there's another one on the inside, but it hasn't been as effective as he wanted it to be. Dela Cruz is a tough left-handed matchup. You know, he fights that lefty style so well, and he's so, you know, good with it. And this Dominican fighter is just a very tricky guy.
Yeah, he put Boston on the board earlier tonight, and he just has a presence that you can't get to him very easily and makes you pay the price when you come near him. Even as he's backing up, he scores.
A 30-year-old who discovered the TBL this season has come into it and has really been very solid.
We see him getting consistent, better each week, especially as his confidence grows with the understanding of this format.
The right hook by him. You know, Angel Hernandez is somebody they would like to get going on the, you know, he came into this tonight 4-4 for the season. He might leave at 6-4 at the rate it's going, but he's had his good moments for Philly this season with a knockdown against Jose Rodriguez. So he's had some wins, but they'd like him to, I think, just be a little more consistent.
Against a fighter he could not find tonight.
Well, Alexi Dela Cruz certainly thinks he did enough to win this one and get a double tonight. That was some action on the inside where Hernandez was trying to land those left hooks. Missing it there again. Dela Cruz made him miss quite a bit during the course of these two matches.
TBL fans, the winner of round 22 by way of unanimous decision. From the Boston Butchers, Alexi Dela Cruz.
Dela Cruz gets a double, as did Skylar
Our
Lacey
penultimate money
for
round
Boston.
will be at super welterweight. Boston, Jaye Brown. Philly, Jason Moreno.
All right, so a rematch of launch rounds in which Moreno credited with a knockdown. That was a decisive moment for his team in the launch rounds.
Yeah, that helped start the avalanche coming for Philadelphia. And Jaye Brown, who, you know, has a really good record. I mean, came in 23-7 tonight in TBL activity. He protested the knockdown. It was a right hand that landed kind of on the chest, and you can make a case for it. Now here, with a early assault is Moreno.
Well, and that knockdown did occur late in the round. So if you're Moreno, you could be thinking, I did that right at the end of the fight. Let me try to pick up where I left off. Then you're thinking about what you just did.
Brown hitting behind the head with a frustration there. And you know, when you fight Jaye Brown, who's a very good ring technician, you need to do that, I think, to take him off his game. If you let him just box and be a boxer puncher, he's got good hand speed, good accuracy. That's going to be a problem for you. You want to crowd him and make him work.
As we see on the outside,
Let him out, please. Let him out, please. Get back.
that Brown is trying to get some work done, and then when he didn't like what he saw, he came in and tied up. But there's an example of the jab and the hand speed and a good right hand by Brown. Now he's fighting a little bit from frustration here too. He feels like he's being held here, and then the knockdown the last time, which he didn't feel was right.
Yeah, he and the referee have not had good vibes tonight. I don't think they're going to go out for a beer afterwards.
The problem with that argument too is you're never going to win it.
Yeah.
Jab by Brown on the outside, but then he gets nailed with the right hand. as Moreno gambled and went straight to him. A little unconventional, but he got it home.
And, you know, think about Moreno. You talk about some of the fighters that figure this out. He was 1-5 and then went on a 10-fight win streak. So at the beginning, not really working well within the structure, and then he did very well, and then came into this season. He had a split decision loss to Giovanni Estella, but tonight, you know, he's looked good.
Yeah, it really has. He's gotten himself in an excellent posture in this league, really figuring it out.
Will payback for hitting behind the head.
It's like two children in front of their father. You know, he started it, you know, it wasn't I. Yeah, you know, I was cleaning this.
Well, he was trying to pay back Jaya Brown for what he considered hitting behind the head before. And so.
The final seconds of an unresolved conflict.
Yeah, and this one was, you know, I thought Moreno did some good offensive work early, and the question is, was that the most? These two efforts tonight. I think Jaya Brown, even though he thought the knockdown was inappropriate, this was not typical of Jaya Brown. And that was some of the early offensive work being done by Jason Moreno.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 23 by way of unanimous decision from the Phillies mold, Jason Moreno.
All right, so Jason Moreno keeps it going for Philly. A 3-point night for him.
Our final money round will be in the heavyweight division. Boston, Michael Coffey. Philly, Stephen Williams.
Coffey versus Williams to close it out.
Well, both these men lost earlier this evening, so they'd like to put a W out there on their record.
Yeah, you'd love to leave with a split, especially when you win the second one. And they'll go at it here. Good action with Coffey trying to load up.
Coffey much more aggressive than he was earlier in the evening when he fought Concha Nathan.
And sometimes you take a lesson out of those fights. I didn't do enough. I'm coming in the next time. I'll start faster, which he did. And then now you settle in 40 seconds in, and let's see what transpires.
Coffey has been in, I mentioned he's been in the really good heavyweights like Fabio Yardley and Price Taylor and others, and he's...
Is there a shoulder injury here for Philly? And do we have a stoppage? I think we do. We do. We have a... See, the left shoulder was hit. And the immediate reaction by Williams. And referee smartly intervenes before more damage could be done when he saw basically a defenseless fighter.
Now we'll take a look and see if we can see where this injury occurred for Stephen Williams.
Right there we see him clutching.
It's kind of a jab that hit the shoulder. Yeah, and something popped or whatever happened, it was painful to Stephen Williams. And
he couldn't disguise it. And when he went down there and held the left hand down, the referee knew what was the deal and that smartly intervenes here for the safety of the fighter. That jab right after that, well, locked up, but there was a problem there with the shoulder.
So Stephen Williams, tough night.
Referee in charge Eric Dolly waves off the final round at 1 minute 7 seconds for your winner by TKO. 4 points going to the Boston Butchers, Michael Coffey.
So Michael Coffey makes it respectable for Boston. Philly comes up with the win. Boston respectable at the end. We'll be back to check the honor roll after this. Team Boxing League is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole foods you can easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com, use code TEAM, and start today. Well, a big win for Philly, 19-12, and let's take a look at the Balance of Nature stars of the fight. Round 4 and round 11 as the women taking the stage here, Stacia Suttles and Sage Rosario. Suttles winning the battle after the trash talking that had unfolded earlier last week when she was called out. She loved the fact that she was able to get the win in round 4, and then the disappointment she was able to register for Rosario in round 11. The upstart Rosario had called out Suttles, and so it was a workwoman-like performance for Suttles in the rematch as she won it even more definitively against Rosario and let her 19-year-old opponent know that Stacia got a double in this one. So that's our star of the fight. Let's go inside and meet the fighters in the honor roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Harrah's Casino here in Philadelphia, PA, your final score, the Philly Smoke 19, the Boston Butchers 12. Here are your 3 stars of the fight. Your number 3 star, Boston Butchers, super lightweight, Sage Rosario. The number 2 star, Philadelphia Smoke, super lightweight, Stacia Suttles. Balance of Nature, number 1 star, welterweight, Andrea Cedeno. The round of the night, round number 4 between Sage Rosario and Stasia Sottles.
Coach, congratulations on another win and remaining undefeated for the season. Your team is absolutely dominating this season. What do you attribute to that?
Say that again?
Your team is absolutely dominating this season. What do you attribute to that?
We're just going to keep dominant. And when they call us out individually as a team, we show out and show out. And we got the best Ellis.
And despite whether your players were winning or losing tonight, not that there were very many losses, the atmosphere from the sidelines was unreal. What do you do to create such a great environment amongst the team?
It's all them. I'm just the glue. That's all. We're going to win again and win, 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 win.
Good job.
Boom.
Congratulations, first star of the night tonight. Despite a 75% KO ratio in your regular pro boxing career, this is your first TKO in Team Boxing League. How does it feel?
I'm sorry, I don't speak English 100%, but a little bit. And first time, I'm thankful my team, Mr. Boken, for every opportunity. For me is, ¿cómo puedo decir? Me siento bien.
I feel good
Por dar mi primer knockout.
for having the first knockout and representing the best team.
Well, congratulations. Girls, amazing fight tonight. Very exciting. Sage, firstly, talk me through what happened tonight.
I for sure got robbed the first round. And we got Philly smoke in 2 weeks. And, you know, we're going to run it back and go to war. And, you know, these girls better take shelter because the storm is coming.
Stasia, how do you feel about that? I know that midway through the whole of that first round that you guys fought, your teams were both going crazy, and it was like you both went to another level in that fight. Talk me through how it was for you in there.
I came in here and I do what I do. That's it. You know, she came in here real confident, real cocky, really. And I showed her who Stasia the Natural is. So I'll see her in 2 weeks, and that's it.
I have to ask you, what were the words that were said between you guys after the rounds? I saw you having a few sentences there together.
Yeah, I mean, I told her to keep my name out her mouth. First of all, she don't even know how to say my name. My name is Stasia, so get it right. Next time you want to call me out, speak correctly.
All right, Stasia, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'll see you.
June 13, these ladies fight again in Boston next time. June 13. Make sure you don't miss it. Guys, take us back to the studio.
All right, so that's it. We see the stars of the night. Also, Skylar Lacey could have gotten some mentions here for his nice performance. Dela Cruz for Boston as well. Had some good nights as well. We saw some efforts for Boston. It came up with 7, just about where we thought that the margin might be. But what a dominant effort up and down, the consistency by this Philadelphia team.
They were consistent all the way through. Everybody on that team, it appeared, came ready tonight to give a great performance. And Bob Kane, a man of few words, but he was prophetic.
That was a lot for him.
Yeah.
At the over. If you had the over on Bob Kane, you get that. Well, a big night for Philly, and we've got another good one coming your way. The return of King Kong as Nashville faces Miami. We will see Luis Ortiz, the former heavyweight champion of the world, coming into his new form, TBL, and that's going to be tomorrow night. We're so glad that you've joined us here tonight in Philadelphia. We've had some great action, the knockdowns. the side story here with the women, and quite a night for Philly. For my buddy Al Bernstein, for Jason Moon, for all the people here, our fine crew at TBL, the people do a great job inside here to help us going. This is Dave Bontempo saying so long for now, and see you soon.
Ringside with Steve Cunningham Sr., former two-time world champion, has fought some of the greatest fighters of this generation, including Tyson Fury. You retired in 2021 and then decided to come back in 2025 into TBL.
Yeah.
Talk us through that decision that brought you back, and how are you feeling about it so far?
I mean, I feel great about it, man. I'm excited about the TBL and what it's got in store for the future. I commentated a fight here in Philly in season 2, and I was intrigued. My son was on the team at the time, and I'm like, yo, I want to do that.
And you're not just a boxer, you're also were in the Navy, and you're a model. Can we have a blue steel?
Oh, man. Yeah, you know, I modeled for some years, you know, a few years ago. I'm getting back into it right now. Got my portfolio rolling as an older gentleman, you know, so we can see what happens from there.
Okay, but the blue steel, give it to us. Thanks, guys. Take us back to the ring. I am here ringside with Rashidi Ellis, one of the more successful members of Team Boxing League, 28-1 as a pro, now 33-4 in Team Boxing League. You have a brother on the same team. You have a sister tonight, boxing on the opposite team. Yeah. Are you guys all going to go out to dinner afterwards, or does the rivalry go all season?
It depends how the night goes. Yeah, we are. We're going to go out and have some fun after.
And how was that growing up in your household? What was the sibling rivalry like? Tell me about it.
I told you before, they used to jump me. Her and my sister. Him and my sister. Right, Mom? My mom's over there somewhere.
Is that how you got into boxing?
Yeah. Nah, but he's the one that started. Then me and my sister followed along.
And so how do you attribute this dynamic in the household growing up to the success that you've had in boxing now?
It came all together. You know, everything that we've been through, and you can see the hard work and talent that we put in the ring.
Well, great job tonight getting the win. Guys, take us back to the ring. Yes, guys, I am here ringside with Shaquilla Ellis, the sister to the guys that I spoke to earlier. She's a superstar in her own right. She was an Olympian, 2022 amateur world champion, and as a pro, she is undefeated. She's never lost a fight in the TBL in your second season now.
26-0 right now, till this day, yeah.
That's right, you won tonight, of course. Growing up in a house full of boxers, how was that, and how do you feel like that shaped your success as a professional?
Well, I was always like a little scrapper when I was younger, so like my dad just put me in the gym with my brothers as a punishment, because I was always fighting outside. So I got to the gym and I started beating up people without getting in trouble. I loved it, you know? And look at me now.
That's right, and Rashidi told me that you used to beat him up as a kid.
Yeah, I did until he got bigger, and then I'm like, all right, I'm not messing with you no more.
And so how does it feel to watch your brothers fight in the ring tonight when you're on the other side?
Oh, it felt good, you know. I see that they're doing good, they're improving, but I can't cheer as much as I wanted to, you know, because I got my team to cheer for. So I just stay quiet and, you know, cheer in my head.
Well done to your whole family tonight. Take us back to the ring, guys.
We're going to get the big names, and then we'll go into the soundbite thing. It was a good night to be part of the Philly Smoke. They are 6-0, 19-12 victory over the Boston Butchers, a team they love to beat if they can because of the rivalry between these teams, Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein. And we even had a little bit of an undercurrent because of the call-out challenge last week issued by Sage Rosario. So on top of the fact that these teams have a rivalry, they had a little bit more sauce tonight.
Yeah, adding some smack to it because Rosario very, very bold after her win last time out, and she got what she asked for.
Let's look at the origin and take you through this rivalry of Rosario and Suttles.
I go in every fight trying to kill, and I'm the head assassin, and I'm the new big dog in the league. And so this is going for everybody. Y'all better watch out. And I'm just going to prove that later on tonight. So just keep watching.
You don't get called out like last weekend unless there's immense respect from the other person. Do you feel like this could be a new rivalry in Team Boxing League, and does that motivate you to train a little harder?
Honestly, I think she's underestimating me, and there's not really much respect, to be honest. I mean, hey, I'm just going to go in there and do my thing. It's business is business. I'm going in there, and that's it.
Well, the head assassin didn't even get aggravated assault tonight. This was the round 4. It was a good one, also an honor roll.
Yeah, it started in round 4 where these two women both had a pitched battle. I mean, there was a lot of great punches landed by both. The judges liked the precise work done and a lot of the counter done by Suttles. As she got the nod, much to the chagrin of Rosario, but she got the nod in the first one. And then when they got together in the second one, it was really in round 11. Suttles, I thought, even improved on her effort from the first round and was able to land a lot of good left hooks and right hands as well, and really control, I think, to a great extent, what happened in this fight. It wasn't that Rosario didn't do good things. She did.
But Suttles pulled away. So she showed her dominance in her ability level at the end of the second fight, and she knew it, and they did not embrace right afterwards. So that was quite a performance by her. So that was a nice undercurrent. And, you know, some of Philly's big stars did what Philly's big stars do.
Yeah, they really did. It was a consistent effort all the way through for Philadelphia. And they did more than just get a win tonight. I think they've really made a statement about where they're at in this league.
All right, so a lot of great performers for Philadelphia. They get the job done tonight. Big night all the way through. We saw the knockdowns, Moreno, Cisco Kid Rodriguez. If you weren't named Ellis, it was a tough night for you for Boston. And the Suttles-Rosario battle was an undercurrent. So that's the good one from here. 19-12 for Philly. For Al Bernstein, this is Dave Bontempo. Glad you joined us with this one.